living organisms, they show metabolic activities. This metabolism is a collection of life-sustaining chemical reactions in the organisms. That means life-sustaining means these are essential for the survival of the organism. These metabolic activities include anabolism as well as catabolism. So coming to the anabolism is the synthesis of complex molecules in the living organism from simpler ones together with the storage of energy. Pictorially we can represent this one as here these are the smaller molecules, these are joining and finally they are forming the complex molecule like this. So here simple molecules, they are joining together and forming the complex molecule. So we can conclude that these anabolic processes are the building of processes, and these kind of anabolic processes are usually seen in the case of photosynthesis as well as in the case of growth also. In the case of photosynthesis, usually the complex molecule glucose is produced from the simple molecules like carbon dioxide as well as water molecules. Even in the case of growth also, we can see the same kind of process here. So the small molecule, they join together and responsible for the growth of the plant. It's not only in the case of plant but also in the case of all organisms. Growth is the best example for the anabolic processes. Now coming to the catabolism. So here this catabolism means a set of metabolic pathways that break down molecules into smaller units. A set of metabolic activities that break down complex molecules into the simple molecules. Diagram, when you look at this one, here this complex molecule, it is breaking down into the many smaller molecules like this. We can conclude that these catabolic processes are the breakdown processes, and these breakdown activities are seen in the case of respiration and even in the case of digestion. So in the case of digestion, usually this process starts with a very complex molecule, that may be apple or banana, whatever it may be. Usually that is bigger in size. So here to release energy that should be assimilated or absorbed into the blood. So in the same form, it is very tough to get entry into the blood. So in the case of this digestion, this complex molecule is break down into the smaller molecules, and finally that enter into the bloodstream. Usually these metabolic activities, they release waste materials or non-useful materials. These waste materials or non-useful materials may be in the form of gases or in the form of liquids. Let us see what are the products which are present in the gases. So usually they are oxygen as well as the carbon dioxide. Usually these are released during the photosynthesis as well as the respiration. Even the release of the oxygen also in the photosynthesis, this is the byproduct in the case of photosynthesis. And coming to the liquid waste materials or non-useful materials, usually they are salts and some other nitrogenous waste materials. When these waste materials or non-useful materials, they accumulated in a larger quantity in the body, that leads to the harmful effects. Under the extreme cases, these harmful effects may lead to the death of the organism also. Waste or non-useful materials, usually they are eliminated from the body by a process called excretion. And this excretion is a process by which metabolic waste or unuseful materials are eliminated from an organism. So excretion is a process by which metabolic waste or unuseful materials are eliminated from an organism. We can say that this excretion is the removal of materials like carbon dioxide, excess water and bile pigments, and excess salts also. Additionally, this includes the removal of nitrogenous compounds like ammonia, urea and uric acid. So in one way we can conclude that removal of carbon dioxide, excess water, bile pigments and excess salts, and the removal of nitrogenous waste materials like ammonia and urea and uric acid and many other compounds also is known as excretion. Now let us see our discussion focused on the excretion in the case of human beings, in the case of some other organism, and additionally let us see excretion in the case of plants also. Coming to the excretion in the case of human beings, so mainly that is done by a urinary system. Mainly, in addition to this urinary system, some other accessory excretory organs are also present. We know that accessory means a supplementary or supportive components. So here, the urinary system is a major excretory system in the case of human beings. Let us discuss about the urinary system in detail now. Before going to into detail about this urinary system, let us see what are the roles of the urinary system. So this involves in the cleansing of the blood, ridding the body of the waste, and regulation of pH, and this activity is shared with the lungs, and regulation of BP, and this is shared with the heart as well as the blood vessels. Additionally, then these are also involved in which determines the concentration of RBC. Even 85% of erythropoietin or EPO is produced by the kidneys, and this is being involved in the final synthesis of the vitamin D. Next, coming to the other one, that is, if the kidneys fail, then what are the common symptoms usually we observe? So we experience weakness and we feel lethargy, shortness of breath, anemia, and widespread edema, that means swelling of the body parts, metabolic acidosis, and rising the potassium levels usually happens. And the final important thing is the heart arrhythmiasis, that means an abnormal rate of muscle contraction in the case of heart. So due to the failure of the kidneys, usually we notice or we feel all these symptoms in the body. That means it's clearly indicating that in addition to the removal of waste, these kidneys play an important role in the various metabolic activities. So another important aspect is usually these kidneys are associated with the nervous system, and by associating with the nervous system, it plays an important role in the disposal of urine at the convenient time. And failure of the nervous system, what happens? So it leads to the inconsistency, that means a loss of control over the urination. Usually this is observed in the case of small kids and even in the case of older people. By summarizing all these things, we can say that the urinary system or renal system or urinary tract is a system that eliminates waste from the body and regulates blood volume and blood pressure, and even it controls levels of electrolytes and metabolites, and also regulate blood pH. So here it is clearly indicating that the key functions of the urinary system. See some pictures related to the urinary system, and this is the X-ray picture of the urinary system. Here you can observe the kidneys, and two tubes we can see here. They are the ureters, and here you can see the bladder here, and say renal system we can observe here kidneys. Here you can see the presence of right kidney is slightly lower in position, and the ureters, and next one is the urethra. So urethra is the part which takes the urine from bladder to the outside. And here this is the another picture showing the urinary system here. kidneys and ureters and the bladder here, and from bladder urethra takes the urine out of the bladder. So usually urinary system is with various parts like kidney, ureter, urinary bladder and urethra. So these are the various parts of the urinary system. Now let us discuss about the kidneys now. So we can define these kidneys as the kidneys are bean-shaped organs on either side of our spine, just below our ribs and behind our belly, which filter and removes a waste from the blood. In the other way, we can define this as the organ that performs excretory and osmoregulatory functions. And this is the picture of the kidney. Here we can see it as the bean-shaped structure. Now let us discuss about the general structure of the kidney. So here this is the structural features. So with respect to a shape, location, position and color and the size, we will discuss about the kidney. Let us start with the shape. So usually these are a bean shape, and the outer surface it looks like convex and the inner surface gives the concave shape. Here you can see this is the outer surface. It's a convex shape, and coming to the inner, usually it is concave in shape. Coming to the location where these kidneys are present. These kidneys are present in the abdominal cavity and present on either side of the backbone, and these are attached to the dorsal body wall. So let us see where this abdominal cavity and all these dorsal body wall are present. This abdominal cavity is defined as abdominal cavity is the largest hollow space of body present between the diaphragm, the upper plane of the pelvic cavity, which contains many body organs. And when you look at this picture, we can see the various cavities present in the case of a body. So here we can see this pink color one as the abdominal cavity, and the green one is the pelvic cavity. And if you look at this one in between the purple as well as the pink color, we can see the diaphragm. So this is present in between the diaphragm and the pelvic cavity. And further, if you notice this one, this vertebral cavity and cranial cavity, these two are the parts of the dorsal body cavity. So here these kidneys are present in the abdominal cavity, and here we can see that these kidneys are present on either side of the vertebral column. These T10, T11, T12, L1, L2, L3, L4, and these are the different spines of the spinal cord. Coming to the relative position of the kidneys. Usually right kidney is slightly located lower than the left kidney. Here also we can see that. The reason is due to the presence of the liver towards the right side. Here you can see that. So due to the presence of this liver towards the right side, it is slightly pushes down the right kidney. So the right kidney is slightly presented down to the left kidney. And now coming to the color of the kidneys. Kidney shows different colors on external as well as the internal side. So usually towards the external side, which is dark in color, and this part is called as the cortex, and towards the internal side, usually they gives a pale color, or they are present in pale color, and this particular pale colored inner part is called as the medulla. And coming to the picture of this cortex and medulla, here we can see the cortex here and the medulla here. Outer surface, dark outer surface is the cortex, and pale yellow colored inner surface is the medulla. And further you can see here, and if you look at this one, outer surface is the cortex and the inner one is the medulla. Coming to the size and different dimensions of the kidney. So usually the length is 10 centimeters and the breadth of this kidney is 5 to 6 centimeters and thickness is around 4 centimeters. And the more characteristic feature of this kidney structure is having the hilum towards the inner side. This hilum, otherwise known as the fissure, and it can be defined as this renal hilum is the entry and exit site for structures serving the kidneys. That may be blood vessels, nerves, or lymphatics and ureters also. Here you can see the hilum here, the red highlighted one, and circular one is the hilum. Here you can see that in this hilum region, all these blood vessels and even the pelvis or ureter, either they are entering into the kidney or they are exiting from the kidney. So this is a site where these various structures they enter into the kidney or getting exit from the kidney. So we can say that then this hilum is the entry for the renal artery and the exit for the renal vein and ureter. And when you look at the definition for this renal artery, which is the artery that delivers blood to the kidneys. The renal artery that brings oxygenated blood and water products from the body parts and takes this to the kidney, where it is filtered and removed in the case of kidneys. Renal artery is taking the oxygenated blood for the utilization in the kidney and the waste materials for the filtration in the kidneys. So after utilization of oxygen, usually the blood is called as deoxygenated blood, and after filtration, that means after removal of the waste materials, this filtered blood and this deoxygenated blood, they send it back, are taken away by the renal vein, and this renal vein they exit from the hilum. So this is the hilum region. Here you can see the highlighted the circular one. So renal artery entering into this kidney from the hilum. So here in the kidneys, the waste materials are filtered here, and finally this filtered blood again are sent back to the body parts by the renal vein. That is all about the external morphology of the kidneys in the case of human beings.